Alright y'all, it's been a hot minute since I just walked and talked to the camera, but that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. So yeah, Good Friday. Happy Good Friday to you, wherever you are in the world. So what I want to talk about in this video is George Floyd. The trial of Derek Chauvin is ongoing. Let's talk about it. So today will be day 5 of the trial. Did he do trials on Good Friday in America? In the UK they wouldn't, because it's considered a bank holiday, but anyway, I'm assuming they are. But I've watched every single minute of the live coverage. It started on Monday, so we've seen 4 days worth of testimony and examination, cross-examination, counter-cross-examination from the prosecution and the defence. The defence, Mr. Nelson, reminds me a lot of one of the barristers that was on the murder trial that I was a jury member of last February. I've got some videos. Not in court. We're not allowed to film in court in the UK. So there's no such thing as televised trials. But in America, I guess you're lucky, because this stuff needs to be out in the public domain. The public needs to see this kind of thing. Yeah, well, a couple of days ago on this channel, I posted the police body cam. So this was the body cam from officers Lane and King. Officer Lane was on George Floyd. So there's a dog over there, just a minute. Come on, you. Oh, he's not got a dog. He's not got a dog, that's all right. She won't care then. I can't see properly out of my right eye because I've got an allergy. Allergy season started about 2 days ago. It looks like spring, doesn't it? But it really isn't. Well, it is spring, but it's still a bit chilly. But all the grass pollen has started to come out. So last 2 days, I've just been constantly rubbing my eyes. So my right eye's really sore. I don't know what it looks like on the camera, but it's really sore. And it's watering so much, you can't see out of it hardly. Yeah, Officer Lane was the guy who sat on his feet. Officer King was the guy in the middle. Derek Chauvin was the one on George Floyd's neck. And then you had Officer Tao, who was the one who was holding the observers back. So I believe Officers Lane and King were new officers and experienced officers, and you heard Officer Lane very, very clearly on 2 occasions that were caught on camera anyway, saying should we roll him on his side, because he was struggling. He was vocal at first, but he was struggling. I mean, struggling with his health. And you can see very, very clearly that Officers Lane and King got off him on 2 occasions. Officer Lane said, should we roll him on his side? Which is exactly what they should have done. Yesterday, we saw testimony from, what was his name? Kruger. I don't know what his rank was. Chauvin's immediate superior. So, oh yeah, it's the sergeant. The sergeant should be contacted and should be, you know, get there on scene if there's force needed to apprehend someone. So a takedown, just an average takedown, would not be considered excessive force. Oh, it's dirty. I've got my bloody work shoes on. Cuffing someone wouldn't be considered force, like, you know, but restraining someone, an injury, a health concern whilst in police custody, because George Floyd was in police custody. The reason why he'd been apprehended, by the way, was because it was suspected that he gave a fake $20 bill at Cup Foods, like the store, and the store people called the cops. So when they turned up, like, they pointed a gun at him. You know, he's like, what the hell, pointed a gun at him, and his mate, the woman, said that he'd been shot before, so he was scared of the police. He was shot before. So the reason why he was panicking and it looked like he was resisting arrest was because he was scared. When Officer King was taking his name and his date of birth and stuff, Officer King was on his own with him. He was in cuffs and he was sat on the street and he was completely calm. He was not resisting arrest. It was only when they tried to get him in the car that he started to freak out, and he said he was claustrophobic, he got anxiety, and he also mentioned COVID, and it was proven at autopsy, I'll come on to the autopsy in a minute, it was proven that he was positive for COVID, he'd had COVID. He told them exactly what his health problems were, but they didn't listen. And for me, this is just a real example of the police not being well trained in mental health. And I know they're in a volatile situation. You know, it's very easy to be the Monday morning quarterback. It's very easy to say, my camera's really fuzzy. That's better. That's better. I thought it was the light, but it's not. It's my lens. But I think you're good now. Oh, there's a person with a dog. Right, I'll go this way. Yeah, it's easy to be the Monday morning quarterback. It was a volatile situation. It was, you know, high pressure, and I understand that. What Floyd said was he wanted to go in the front. Well, obviously that's not a good idea. He wanted an officer to get in the back with him. And I really do think if an officer had got in the back, he would have got in. I'm convinced of it. And he said himself he wanted to go on the ground. Well, he was panicking, he was having a panic attack. And the police, in the way they behaved, escalated the situation beyond the situation warranted. But anyway, so you could see very clearly that Officers Lane and King were concerned, were nervous. Officer King checked his pulse. But I don't think he didn't do it properly, but he tried. But they were apparently inexperienced officers. Officer Toe was, I think at the end of the day, you know, the crowd were shouting. There was 12 people overall, but the crowd were shouting, you know, like check his pulse, get off him, blah, blah, blah. Potentially from Officer Toe's point of view, that crowd could have turned and got violent. So I think holding the crowd back was okay, was fine. Officer Chauvin, the guy who's on trial, Derek Chauvin, continued to apply pressure to Floyd's neck and then his back, even when the paramedics arrived. And yesterday we heard the testimony from the two paramedics who were the first responders on scene. And one of them said, you know, the police should have, he got it in there, it wasn't asked, but he got it in there, said that they should have started chest compressions. So he was essentially, all intents and purposes, according to the paramedics, he was dead on scene. He had no pulse when they arrived. They didn't get a pulse the whole time he was being treated in the ambulance. He didn't get a pulse. They had the machines on him, they had the breathing apparatus on him. He never regained consciousness, he never regained a pulse, he never took a breath. So he was dead on scene. Now, I would argue, and we're waiting for the medical evidence to come forward, but I would argue that if they'd have, once he kind of stopped actively resisting, that was when the sergeant said they should have stopped restraining him. He was in cuffs, remember, and there was 3 officers there, and he was already on the ground. So rolling him on his side into a recovery position and giving him the constant monitoring, he would have lived, guys. He would have lived, in my humble opinion. But what the defence are going to claim is that it was unfortunate that he died, but it wasn't of anything that Officer Chauvin did. So that implies that he would have died anyway. So the question is, would he have died anyway if he hadn't have been apprehended and then restrained by the police to, in that way, using those techniques? Would he have died? The answer is absolutely not. The defence are going to argue that he had fentanyl in his system, which is an opioid, and he absolutely did. He suffered from an opioid addiction. Yesterday we heard from his girlfriend, who him and her both struggled on and off over the years with opioids. It was prescription medication, but they were also getting it on the black market. It was started off with chronic pain, and it's a common story. You know, people start getting opioids for chronic pain. In the UK, that's what the doctors do. They just give you pills, they give you opioids. I've never accepted them, I've never wanted them. When I had chronic pain with my back's okay now, but yeah, I was offered them and I said no. They're going to say that he had enough fentanyl in his system that would warrant being a drug overdose. Now, fentanyl is, opioids are a suppressant, a respiratory suppressant. So the panic attack of being apprehended and being claustrophobic and suffering from anxiety, the officers escalating the situation, which in itself I don't think they can really be blamed. It was a high volatile situation. They were thinking on their feet. I get that, I understand that. Would he have died of that amount of drugs in his system had Officer Chauvin not knelt on his neck whilst he was in the prone position for 9 minutes and 29 seconds? I argue no. He also had atherosclerosis. According to the autopsy, one of the arteries leading to his heart was 75% occluded. But at the same time, he was a fit guy. He wasn't overweight by the looks of things. He was a fit guy, played football, played baseball. So all you guys who are stuffing the, you know, the cholesterol down your necks and stuff, you know, that could be you. That could be you. But I'm not making this about cholesterol or veganism or anything like that. I'm just stating that he did have atherosclerosis. Would that have caused him to die on that day? No, it wouldn't, in my humble opinion. But we are going to wait for the medical examiners and stuff. I think that's going to be the real crux of the matter. I don't know when that's coming, but I'm guessing it's going to be coming soon. And I'll update you then. So thanks for listening. Let me know your comments. Keep it civil. George Floyd was a human being. He had family, friends, and people that loved him. So keep it civil, right? I'll delete comments if they're not civil. Don't mind you disagreeing, but if they're not civil, you're gonna go, okay? Yeah, I've made a couple of videos last few days. Don't expect this as my daily return. It isn't. I'm just covering the George Floyd trial. I'm not doing it over on my true crime channel because I'm covering Chris Watts over there. So I'm vlogging this. So I think this, moving forward, is going to be my vlog channel. I might even change the name of the channel, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, look, spring has sprung for my apple tree. My walnut tree is just starting to bud. Focus. It's not going to focus. Fuck it.